So it's July 2021. What's going on in the market? Are things starting to change? Maybe a little bit. So let's talk a little bit of what's going on. Ivy Zelman's company, Zelman June Broker Report. This month's overall home buyer demand rating equaled 86 on a 0 to 100 scale, down from 88 last month and marking the first sequential decline since November. So what does this mean? I think that we had on a scale of 1 to 10 a level 12 for a while. I think we're at a level 11. So we're still doing really good. We are seeing things, slow down a little bit. I think some of it is time of year. Kids are out from school, going on vacation. The vaccine's rolling out, people going back to the city. So you may see instead of 12 offers, you may see 6. So nothing to say, oh my God, but something to definitely watch, see what's going on, try to be proactive, where the market's going. One of the things that we put out there is what was the percentage of respondents who said it's a good time to buy? It's down a little bit now from where it was back in June 2020. June 2020, 61% of people said it was a good time to buy. Now it's 35%. Why is that important? I think that that's happening a lot also because of the things we discussed, but also buyer fatigue. Properties have been going multiple offers, people have been going 20, 50, 100 grand over asking price, cash offers not getting it, and you're tired. You're exhausted. You got emotional ups and downs, of what's going on, and you say, wait a second, maybe now is not the right time. Things are opening up. I'm going to go for a rental for a year. Let me hold off on buying, which is pulling some of that demand out there. Interest rates are still remaining low, and some of the big core things that we've seen that kind of cause some of this buyer fatigue is record price appreciation, extremely low inventory, record high percentage sales over list price, record days on the market, record low days on the market, and historically low mortgage rates. All these have caused these kind of scenarios of the bidding more and people getting tired of what's going on. And sellers have some seller fatigue as well. You are seeing a little bit more coming on the market, but if you had 5 offers come on the market on your property and you say, okay, I'm exhausted, what do I do? Or you had an offer fall apart or another one fall apart, which does happen because people are just bidding wildly, you're a little tired of it. So one of the good things that we are seeing is that people have a ton more equity in their property. Something to watch out for, and we'll talk a little bit about this, about people pulling that equity out of their home, but people definitely have more equity in their homes today on average than what they had a few years ago. Single family homes is a little bit more on the market. We're seeing this inventory pick up a little bit, especially in July. After July 4th, I saw a little bit come on last week. What does that mean? People just probably took a little longer to get their properties ready to go on the market. They said, let me get into this before things change. You're seeing a little bit more supply, a little bit less demand. Nothing to fear, nothing crazy yet, no bubble bursting. Overall in good place. Where do the pundits kind of see price home forecasts over 2021? On an average of almost 9%. So that's good. If we end up nationally at 9%, we've seen some things at 14, some things at 6. We end up at 9. Personally, I'd be pretty happy with that. One of the things that people are talking about now that the national mortgage forbearance is up, okay, and with the eviction stuff and everything that's going on around that, are we going to see a lot more inventory? Foreclosure auctions are open, but where we used to see, let's call it 200 a month, you're seeing 20 a month. You're seeing a lot less of that. Will you see more over time? Absolutely. But you're not seeing a huge amount now. The amount of people that are in forbearance have been decreased dramatically. So we're seeing that kind of change over. What happens in 2022? Do you think the market will increase? I do. I think we'll still see some price appreciations. We're seeing that we'll have probably the amount of sales in 2022 up to about 7.5 million. Why is that? We will see some of those foreclosures. Home builders are starting to build, and we're seeing some of those lumber futures come down. So hopefully they become more accessible, and prices kind of line up a little bit better. I remember back in 2008 and 9 when the market had turned, and it was about 5.5 to 6 million homes being sold. That has been the national kind of average over the last decade or two. In 2021, we're projected to see anywhere between 6.7 and 7.1 million homes being sold. We're actually seeing more homes being sold now than what we saw 2-3 years ago. So that's a good thing. Some of it was left over from last year that now is closing this year, which kind of bounces out. But we are seeing that trend kind of go up a little bit for 2022. We talked a little bit about that cash out equity. One of the big issues that we had in 2008 is people use their home like an ATM. You got 125% financing, ninja loans, no docs, no income verification, none of that. And what happened? It all crashed. We are at probably about a third of the amount of money people pulling in home equities out of their homes versus what we saw back then. So something to watch. Make sure that it doesn't kind of go too far. I think the banks are a little conscious of this now versus what they were back in '08. So something to watch, but hopefully we don't see that as coming in as a major hurdle. Okay? Once again, where do we kind of go back? What's our future look like? One of the things I try to do in this business is really see what's going on in the market and try to project where things are going to go. And I learned that lesson from 2008, 2009. If I would have realized that prices were declining, then maybe we could have been ahead of that curve and maybe we dropped 5% instead of the industry average 10%. So kind of projection a little bit of where things are going. You know, in 2021, they're expecting the price increase about 8.5%. By 2025, they're at 3.3%. Okay, so we're leveling out back to the historic norms. That's okay. That's a healthy market. That would probably mean interest rates are up a little bit, some of the demand is up, maybe home building pulls back a little bit. But if we see a 3 to 4% appreciation in a couple of years, personally, I'm going to be happy with that. Yeah, it's great to make all that equity in the property and make money on it, but it also creates some inequities in the market and makes it a little crazy, creates that buyer and seller fatigue out there, and is not a joyful experience sometimes. So I think that if we end up along these roads, I think that would be good. The news media may spin it a little differently. Say, oh, prices are not up for 5 months in a row, whatever the case may be, we're still going to be inching up a little bit. And that's a healthy market. That's what we saw from like 2015 to 2018. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully we're seeing a lot of things come together, kind of see some stabilization out there in the market. And, you know, if you have any questions, you need anything, want to talk about buying a property, want to talk about selling a property, feel free to reach out.